Good morning, everybody. How's it going?
Well, we're just saying for some it's not going great.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true. I'm having a party here, scalping this stuff.
hmm. So
Crazy, crazy fun.
the whole SVB thing, I'm, I'm irritated is the wrong word, so I don't care. But if we think back to last Monday, which was that weird day when RTY was really heavily down, we
Mm.
had just massive lack of correlation last Monday. And then it kind of stayed with us during the week, but RTY was down. This flipping thing was known from
Yep.
Monday. And, everyone's getting out of the small caps, the venture backed stuff, because they couldn't easily get access to their money. This was known. But when were the hints there? Thursday, probably in the news, and then confirmed on Friday. It was very odd on Monday. Look, and I don't think we spoke about it in Ides, but certainly with Fishing from Tuesday, I made mention of it. How we had this weird lack of correlation. It was RTY, and it was also the banking sector that we could see on the heat map that was down. So it was known and people were acting on it, but it wasn't reported. And that sucks. But, that's par for the course. So good, good clue there that when we're uncorrelated, you pay attention to lack of correlation and look as to what could be occurring and maybe respect the uncorrelated market and look at that as a potential leader. So, it's interesting set of circumstances. So that's obviously going to dominate next few days. Aren't the Fed going to be talking today about what they're actually going to do in terms of bailouts, which aren't bailouts, reinstatement of deposits, something like that? So there's going to be reaction. Other than that, the week ahead, I think, it's just about time to roll. So we're kind of through that nonsense. And the big news, or the big figure this week's going to be CPI on Tuesday, pre-market. There's also, is it Michigan something, consumer sentiment on Friday. So those are the things just to be mindful of. ECB on Thursday, that'll create a few moves, but more if you trade Eurex. But that's kind of, big picture. But we're going to be experiencing thin book, lots of uncertainty, lots of sweepy stuff. We've probably got to be even more careful this week than last week. What else to say? Other thing that jumped out at me on the dailies as I just look at the overall kind of shape of the market. And let's find spotlight. Here we go. So daily ES chart here. So next, floor, support, whatever that is this 3,800 area, big round number, 50 points below us. Okay, makes sense. Let's get the quote board out the way. I'm just looking for the rough shape of who's going where. NQ is kind of around the similar, floor. It's reached there already. RTY, where this all began. Okay, we need to watch what happens around this 1730 kind of level. But what would you say? Danger, Will Robinson, whoever that is. It's not a Star Trek actor.
No, not Star Trek. Lost in Space. Come on.
Right, okay. YM has gone through there. If we take this area beginning of November for all the indices, is kind of where the demands hells. YM's already gone through it, which makes sense. There's fear and contagion of the banking sector. Where are the banks? YM. So we've just got to be watching whether YM heads back up into the range or we carry on down. And then what could be the next floor on YM? 30,000? 28,800? So I think at the moment with this, sector-specific nonsense, you've really got to be looking at individual indices and seeing where are they holding or breaking, and use that as a clue for overall direction. That's my take for the week. Other than that, volume at price, so I haven't rolled, so we won't even look for patterns on that. TPO artifacts above and below us. Well, lots of arbitrary horizontal lines. We're going back into old areas. If we do hold around 3,800, we've got a 400-point range, up to 4,200. That's going to be interesting. Where we hold, what are the retracements, ambush zones, whatever. But I would not be rushing to buy it.
The overnight TPO is bigger than yesterday's RTH, or I mean, than Friday's RTH.
Yeah, because
it's crazy.
News was out. Asia and Europe can now react. Let's get out of this crappy sector. Lots of decent single prints above us, but not yet. Wouldn't rush to buy the bottom. I think there's JVC. I think there's a few dead cat bouncers ahead and permafaders who are going to get run over. Like you say, Jeff, it always goes further than you think. So it's going to be a good week to be patient. Tom's saying short delta expiry. Okay. That's my take on the week. Jeff, from your side, anything to throw in?
I agree with everything you said. It's funny. I've been up for a few hours scalping this, and it's just crazy price action. It's really good. The scalping couldn't be better, but the book's really thin. The volume is really high. We're at 600,000 contracts already, and we haven't opened yet. That's mind-boggling. So yeah, this is going to be fun. I have nothing to add other than my head totally cleared because I wasn't in the market at all last week. I was in my car in a snowstorm, luckily surviving it. And I didn't talk to the hedge fund guys this week, so no hedge fund call. So just totally clear-headed. And I've just been watching this and basically overnight just shorting every bounce, which has been productive. But yeah. I totally agree. This is everything you said. This is just going to be lots of price discovery. And, the thing, let me just comment real quickly on the Silicon Valley Bank thing. There's some things here that don't add up. I've been around the VC world for a while, and, Roku has $400 million in cash, and another company has $2 billion. Who leaves that kind of cash in a bank? None of this makes sense. There's still parts of this story we haven't heard yet and I'm not saying it's a conspiracy or anything, but what I'm saying is something doesn't add up here yet. There's always ripples when we have these kinds of events. And I don't know what this one is, but there's more to this story. It just
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the bank knew they were in trouble 6 months ago. And again, all these high tech startups leaving cash on deposit in an uninsured bank. I mean, this just doesn't make sense to me. Something's missing.
And the crypto relationships as well. And what was it? Silver? I've forgotten the name of that other one on Friday.
Silvergate, I think, right?
Yeah. There is certainly more to this. Yeah.
Yeah. And whenever there's more to the story, the contagion is, for you newer people, contagion is when the market just, fear just spreads. We're starting to see that right now if you're watching the tape. And, it's self-fulfilling. So, just be really careful with any of your normal quote unquote setups, whatever they may be. This is going to be unusual activity. That's my net.
Especially with the roll still occurring, because the patterns and the volume are going to be unreliable until we get to Wednesday, Thursday.
Oh yeah, and then we've got Quad Witch on Friday. This just couldn't get any better. Right now I just threw a short on, and it's already like 30 points positive in seconds. It's crazy stuff. So just be nimble is my advice. Yeah,
I saw a mention this morning that Signature Bank also quietly went pop, and that was like the last remaining. Yeah, that was the last remaining crypto bank. So crypto in the space of a week has basically been completely unbanked. They're just
three banks went under last week. There were two others that didn't even make the news. Signature was one of them. Yeah. And remember, hedge funds own this.
Making big news.
Yeah. Hedge funds own this shit, and hedge funds own each other's shit. And that's what contagion's all about. I mean, the UK government has some connections to SVB. We don't know what they are yet, but we know that they've met about it. And obviously there's a Fed meeting this morning. So, any preconceived notion you have of what's going on, forget it. You're wrong. Just understand this is going to be crazy.
Yeah, you cannot capitalize on this. You cannot approach this thinking, I know what's going to happen and here's my plan. And that is
exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing that all over the Twitter sphere of people, oh, I'm going to do this. And God, if we get down here, I'm getting long. Your comment about dead cat bounces, under these conditions, and we saw this a little bit during COVID, but I've traded conditions like this a lot in my life. And, it will always go farther and crazier than you think. And just, I remember when Lehman, in 2008, when nobody would buy Lehman, and it, there was conversation all weekend about who was going to buy SVB, and the answer right now is nobody. So, it's just, you have to just take a step back. Somebody posted earlier in the chat that look at the book. There are no 3-digit bids or ask anywhere. I'm looking like 20, 30. Oh, now there's one at 60-50 for 136 contracts. But I mean, it's double digits barely everywhere. So
yeah.
The number one thing you have to remember if you're relatively new, like, trading less than 20 years, is just enjoy this show. This is going to be fun. Buy a couple of eval accounts if you don't already have them, and just, play, enjoy this, because it's crazy, and it will ultimately work itself out, but it's not going to do that certainly before the end of the week, as Lee said earlier.
That, of course, is presuming that the rhythmic paper trading servers can hold up, which they didn't on Friday.
Yeah. I was reading about that. I was still offline on Friday. I was reading about all the Apex people. I guess Apex made a lot of people whole, but yeah, rhythmic needs to be able to keep up, and that's really important. If you're having any issues like that, you just, when you have a platform issue, there's nothing you can do. And as good as the conditions might be to make money, your platform trumps everything else. You have to just shut down and walk away. And that's really hard to do, but, discipline yourself if you run into that today. Where does Apex and Lilu bank? That's pretty funny.
I know you're joking, Lance, but
yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's it. You're doing your regular session later this morning, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm going to do the scalping session at, I guess it's at 8:30 my time, 11:30 Eastern.
It was 10:30 Eastern, I believe.
Is it?
Hang on, let me triple check.
We'll both double check.
I'm sorry. Nope, you were correct. 11:30. I was thinking of tomorrow fishing trip. Yep.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I will do that, and we'll have some fun with this stuff. I just can't emphasize this enough. When the conditions are this crazy, just enjoy the show. So many people are going to blow up accounts and think that some support number is 3,800. I'm going all in. Then we'll drop to 3,750, and then we'll bounce to 4,200. So you just have to let this play out.
Totally, yeah. Actually, the enjoyment's going to come from all the idiotic posts this week.
Oh yeah. Yeah, watching all this
to troll Twitter.
Oh yeah, it's a perfect week for trolling Twitter, because all the guys are going to come out of the woodwork and start posting their $1 million P&Ls, and they'll be all the nonsense. It's perfect timing for nonsense.
Also, what's going to happen? There's going to be people that pile it on the short at some point. And we are going to get a wicked short covering rally that is going to burn a lot of people as well. Don't know when, but people go, it's unstoppable on the way down. I'm going to join in, and bam!
That happened. See that. That happened last night. We were getting crushed down 1% and change, and then pushing hard down. And then the announcement came that they were Janet Yellen said something about, they would back SVB, blah, 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 blah. It was some bullshit. And we reversed 200 points in the NQ in seconds. I mean, just boom. And then people start selling it again. And so, yeah, you could really see some crazy short squeezes. And, if you weren't around during COVID, 5% moves could easily happen. And, we're only right now, RTY is at down 2.5%. So fasten your seatbelts.
Yeah.
I feel
think
like
the
I'm
last
a broken
time
record, but
I think the last time we saw anything where there was a real genuine potential for limit moves was obviously the first time around, COVID hitting and all that. But I think it was the first time there was a new strain, if I remember correctly. I think when like Omicron first hit or something like that. And
something like
everyone
that.
was
Yeah.
like not sure what to make of it yet and all that. And there were those days where it was crazy again. But yeah, we haven't seen anything with real limit potential in quite some time. So yeah,
we're due. We're due.
Yeah.
And one of the things that makes limit days happen is the thin liquidity. And we definitely have the thin liquidity today. So, that, and I was seeing that last night where, we'd get up to an inflection point and somebody would just slam the bid, and boom, 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 we'd get crushed down and then boom, we'd sweep back up. And so, preconceived notions will kill you in a market like this. Just, again, burn this in the back of your head whenever you're watching this today and tomorrow. And just remember me saying, enjoy the show. This is a friggin' show right now.
And it's really not an environment for trading anything with market orders. It's pick your spots, have your entries and your exits lined up and just let them happen.
Oh, yeah. That happened last night when I was playing around with that big move. I had market orders that were filling, 10 points off the trade. And, I was just playing around to see what was going on with some micros. And one of the other things I noticed was that the micros in both ES and NQ, so MES and MNQ, were really, really busy. And the equivalent, the larger contract, the minis were not nearly as crazy. And so obviously there's a lot of small speculators playing this stuff, which is going to make it just easier to crush them. So, just again, I feel like a broken record, but it's warranted today. You have to just let this play out and enjoy the show. And momentum is king in these conditions. If we get going one way and everybody starts piling in, that's how we'll get our limit conditions. So stay frosty. It's definitely a day to stay frosty.
Yeah, totally.
Dangerous day for monkeys.
Nothing to be chased today. And I think, if you walk away today having not traded because you didn't see anything, that's a good result.
Oh, yeah. Not losing money will be a really good result. And if you just, kill it today, which is really possible. I mean, I'm doing really well from last night and, I'm not patting myself on the back is my point. You can get lucky and make some ridiculous money here. Just manage the risk. That's the key. If you can get short into a big move down or get long into a big move up and just protect yourself, let it go. And that happened again last night over and over again. I would be in a trade and all of a sudden it would be 30 points positive and I'd be like, whoa. And, I'd be going to take profits. Like Lee said, put a limit order in, protect it, put your target in with a limit order and just let the game go. This is, you can't overthink this stuff. It will just run you over if you overthink it. I'm giving you direct personal experience of me getting run over in conditions like this. I've learned my lesson. This is go with it. If you look at the picture I posted last night of my new desk setup, now that I've moved up here to Washington, three of my little 3x5 cards are those right now. With it, go with it, direction. You have to stay focused on that because we could have some wicked moves.
If I'm not mistaken, Jeff, your secondary monitors are on the opposite side where they used to be.
Yes, I moved everything. I moved everything over to the right.
This is to balance your posture.
And it has to do with my neck. After 3 years with my neck facing one way, now I have 3 years with my neck facing the other way coming up, I guess.
You got to undo it. So, it balances.
Yeah, exactly. Also, it's the feng shui of the new room. My new trading room is very, very right oriented. If you saw it, you could feel it. It's interesting.
Matches your politics now then.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's my politics. Whoa, look at this crush down. My God.
Wow. Look at it go.
All right, we should all go trade this.
Yeah.
So let's wrap it up. Unless there's something else to add, come to my scalping session, everybody. In a couple of hours, this could be really fun today, and we will definitely trade this. I'm trading an MNQ only, and I haven't had this much fun in at least a week.
All right,
cool.
Good stuff, gang.
Yeah, stay frosty, everyone.
Dangerous day for monkey.
Yes, be careful, and you can't do a lot of damage with a micro if you think that way. If you're trading this live or in your funded accounts,
just Amy.
What's that?
Amy has a question.
Okay. ES algos. Okay. What's the question? They are really obvious. Okay. Be very careful.
Where's the question?
Yeah, I'm still waiting. Whoa, so what's the...
Throw some question marks at the end. Oh, perfect. Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Clearly, there's a lot of models running here. I mean, there's algorithms that are scalping this. You can see that going on. You can see all kinds of nonsense going on. And one of the things that's really important, particularly today, is at least mentioned it, but I'm going to emphasize it again, is rollover. You know, we're rollover's kind of ending, but we're still kind of in the middle of it. And so, you know, everybody's indicators are going to be broken today. So, you know, anything leaning on one side or the other, unless you're adding it together and you're a genius. So I think we're just going to have lots of volatility, and you might see patterns in it, you know, that are algo related, but, you know, who cares? Just exploit it.
Good stuff. Cool. Then I guess we'll see you all at the Scalpers Mindset and sessions beyond.
Sounds like fun.
Bye for now.